every roll, this guy, this guy, this guy, you know, just come straight out the front.
And then the pulley comes with it, I would imagine.
Yeah, you just you take that off.
Okay.
If you're changing, if you damage your reel, you can buy just the outer reel. Inside there's baffles, baffle assembly inside there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it through that. Well, or up there, how about that one? See those baffles? What that does is the product comes in and goes in there and it agitates it and allows the air to come up through it. It kind of spreads it out. If you didn't have that, you just have just big thick curtain and you wouldn't get the aspiration to do with the blades. Start up, take pause. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Once you get the machine anchored to the floor or on the mezzanine, wherever in place, you'll have to put this inlet hopper on top. It comes separate. It's got a gate that's hanging down that you'll have to guide into place, and it's self-explanatory when you're up on a scaffold looking down. And then you get a spring and a turnbuckle that you can see here that will shut the gate. These arms will already be here. They'll be in this position here because the gate will not have been so tight with the spring and the turnbuckle. There's a spring. And the spring and the turnbuckle opens out. And you can see that? Yeah. Spring and turnbuckle hold that feed plate tight against the feed rolls. That gives you a positive shut-off when you turn the machine off as the feed keeps coming, it'll stop. If a customer is interested, they can turn this screw and actually open it up a bit. They won't get a positive shut-off anymore, but they'll increase their capacity. The motors and reducers come bolted together, but separately on a skid. And they'll have the pulley on there, so you'll know this will not fit on that side, that one will not fit on this side. This drives the main reel. On the opposite side is another motor and reducer that drives this feed roll. Again, the position of this will be self-explanatory, which side it goes on. You put it on the motor support plate here. It's got slots in there. You get it tight. In the manual, it tells you 5/16 of an inch deflection or something. Refer to your manual on that. Some of these will already be there. It's pretty simple belt tensioners here. You take it off, replace it, whatnot. Put your new belt on. And there you go. You have one here, one here. This will be assembled just like so, motor and reducer already on your lifting conveyor. You can take a look at the feed roll on this side. Another motor and reducer. Again, the pulley will be on, it'll only fit on this side. Same thing with the motor plate, tighten her up. That covers that. Then we'll go to, you'll have a Magna-Helix. This setup here controls your air flow. This is an open circuit. You've got your suction coming and going out to a bag house. Matt, are those open circuits that they bought?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll have a similar deal. What you can do is you set your air, and the CFM is in the manual. Set it on your control at the end of this guy. What this is a damper that opens and closes that allows you to fine tune your CFM. Once you get this set where you're not lifting good product, but you got enough air, this is really accurate. If you open it, you bleed in outside air and it reduces the suction. If you close it, you increase the suction. Customer will have to play with that. Just make sure you're not lifting good beans. Typically, we set it where you've got enough air, you're starting to lift some lighter whole beans, and then you just back it off. And what you'll get is all the pods, and it's the aspiration, a great feature of this machine. This, mainly for me, for this, not so much the numbers, but where the needle is. You like your liftings, you're not lifting good beans, you're lifting up all the dust. If it's at 40, your operator wants to see the needles straight up and down. It's not so much it has to be 0.4 or 0.6. It's what's working. It's kind of more of a visual thing like that. Doesn't really correspond to anything. You'll not have this. This is a tack that we discontinued. That will be on your machines. That was a tachometer that monitored the speed, but it's no longer necessary. This is, well, I'll tell you what, we'll save that for when we're running product. So this is considered the aspiration chamber. This is your feed plate here. It's an adjustable feed plate that is in contact with your main reel here. The purpose of that is so product goes to the reel and not behind the reel. It's adjustable. You can have it all the way down. What that means is anything larger than the mesh size is going to go over. With it all the way down, you get slightly higher capacity, and maybe I shouldn't go there. It's adjustable, but you want, there's a plastic strip on the end of this metal plate. You want it in contact with the reel, so nothing slips behind the reel. It's either small enough to go through the holes in the reel, or it'll climb over the reel, and that will affect your capacity somewhat, up or down. And that's something that the operators will put it where they like it. They like what the machine's doing. You just leave it, pretty much. Here's just a, these arms sometimes for shipping might not be oriented just right. If it's hanging straight down, you'll have to, and there are pictures in the manual, and what you can see here is it's just a weighted gate. And good product comes down here, and when the weight of the good product will open it as needed, and basically it's kind of like an air seal. The good product keeps it open, but air can't sneak back in because you'll disrupt your aspiration. And I think that's something these guys, if they've run these before, they're familiar with all that, the concepts that we're discussing. I don't know if they've got this, I know there's a rubber curtain in here. I don't know if it's exactly positioned right here, but it prevents especially soybeans from bouncing. And you're going to have they got rescalping reels? Your machine's going to have a secondary reel like this, smaller 11-inch. That's going to be right here. There won't be this plate here. It'll be the reel. We got good product coming over the top because they're overfeeding it. This secondary reel will capture the good product and spit it out with the pods and whatnot. This is your discharge. This is your overs discharge. Everything bigger than the hole size will come over and come out here and divert to a bin or spouting down here. This should be preset RPM wise. 20 RPM is what the ag guys use. 18, 20, not that critical. You will not have this torque limiter on here. You just have a regular pulley and bushing. You have a frequency drive that will cut out if this thing detects resistance. See your feed rolling here turning. That's what they'll have to dial in to get their capacity. They want quite a range. Yeah, trash comes over and comes out here. Good product goes through the reel, through this chamber. Your air is coming up through this stream of product and blowing your light dots and broken into this auger, which will spit it out the far side. We'll have these covers on. At this point, you're ready to, I'd start with a slow RPM. You just look at it, just baby it at first. As your corn cobs or soybean pods are coming over, you can turn it up, and that's how you'll reach your capacity. When you get it to a speed where it builds up, good product's coming over, then you got to back it off. Your Cracker Jack sales team has sized this machine just right. get your 1,000 bushel or whatever.
So when you get to the site, whether it's your site, you designed the system, the bins, slide gates, surge, you're going to want to still do a check to make sure everything's there. So you want to check the surge hopper. Rule is anywhere from 5 to 10% prior to coming into the machine, which I never did. And then a slide gate at the point of the surge hopper so you can shut off and feed the machine. If you notice that you come to the site in a way that if you turn this on, there's no way to turn it off, except for the bucket elevator coming into the hopper, you're going to have a problem. Because if for some reason on your initial startup it doesn't work properly, there's no way to shut the plant off. So you have to have a slide gate up top. So slide gates open, close on top of the surge, it comes into the feed roll. When I'm looking at the feed roll, I want to know how fast that feed roll is going. If I walk up to the feed roll and it's going like crazy, really fast and stuff, I'm going to say, okay, turn that down. And when the customer says, I can't turn it down, then there's a problem. You have to control the feed rate with that. Otherwise, the machine won't work properly. So that's the other thing I'm going to look for. And I'm going to also look, like Archie said, I'm going to look to see if the springs are there. If the tension is there. Because if I don't have the springs on there, I can't control the feed rate, so it's going to pop. The other thing I'm going to check is make sure that this airlift screw is running. Right now you can't see any rotation. I know it's running. But then the other thing I'm going to check before we get going to run product is how many weights are on this airlifting discharge. From the factory, the weights are going to come probably fully loaded all the way out of the machine. Okay? You want to measure that down equal out to about this level so you know that it'll dump properly. So if you're lifting a lot of product, you want to make sure it's dumped properly. From initial run, I don't want to run too much product to the airliftings because you don't know how good of a takeaway system they have on the airliftings. That's usually the area that they'll not be as strong enough and it won't pull the product away properly. Then you look at the system to make sure that this is right, set up properly, right? Whether that wiper blade's kicked in there right, the reel is rotating forward, then you can start up the machine. The reel we're testing on today is a different kind of reel than what you have inside in most C-Core towers. So it's going to be a 1/2 inch to 5/8 round. This is a special reel that's used to keep clean weeds. So you'll see it, what we're going to try to do is take corn and soybean away from wheat and Scalperator. Next thing to look for is to make sure that that window is full. Then you know you got a full spread all the way across the feed roll. Product is evenly poured in here. Rock weight right now is down. Archie, can you raise the rock plate up for me? So Archie will raise up the rock plate and allow those rocks and sticks and cobs that might tumble in there to start going over. More it a little bit. I got it here, so that's a good lifting. Right now with this machine, the center is trying to take out the corn. The sides are a prototype portion of it. So that's what would happen if you had corn feeding at too high a capacity, it'll come over the pre-scalp reel. So if you're losing product and you don't know where it's coming from, you're going to have to check the rescalp reel to see if you're getting good product over. Like right now, we're getting good wheat. So we know where it's coming from. We know it's right there. The center In the center it's all torn. Right. Okay, we'll kind of show you how the aspiration column works. Product coming here, going into the reel. It's being fed into this section, the secondary feed roll, and you can adjust up and down depending on how much product is coming through. Okay? So if you got a lot of product, a lot of really high capacity, you would lift this up. You got your normal style, factory standard will be fine. And that meter feeds into the air wash, which is right here. That air is sucking from here, up through the column, up and around. That's what gives you the density separation. This is your manual helix. Right now, at that rate, you're sucking a lot of product, right? More than what they would normally do. So, you look at here, you have to check that, see what I'm lifting? I'm lifting tons of broken, weed seeds, buckwheat. So I'm doing a really good job cleaning it. However, I'm taking good product as well. So I don't want to do that. So we're going to back that off. Backed it off quite a way. Now I would probably tell Archie that he's got too much CFM going to the machine and I can't control the rate here. So he has to either do a slide gauge damper, which they should have on site, a slide gauge that just control the amount of air. Archie, you want to turn the CFM down by 500. So now Archie's going to turn the CFM down. If you don't do that, it's just going to keep sucking. If they didn't put a slide gauge damper on the air control, it's going to keep sucking product that they don't want to lose. So they have to have that damper in there. The damper can go anywhere in the piping. It's a typical slide gauge style damper. So, now, we dropped it down, we had it like 6, we dropped it down to 4.5. Let's pull that out. We'll check. Now look, barely any leaks. We controlled it right from there. So now, you can, when you leave in a job site, you can say, okay, why don't you pull it down another 250. You want to be able to control the operation rate here, not on the damper, because you can't fine tune everything. So I just can drop it another. There you go. Dropped it a little bit more. Now what I'm hoping for, they don't lift as much. Now there's no hard weed in there. Right? So now what I'm going to do, crank it right up to fine tune it. I should have sucked a little bit more, but I'm right on the edge. Right on the edge of good product. That's how you took the aspiration sheet. Now you're going to look, make sure that keep track of how much product is coming through here. And make sure, okay, now let's go check to see where you put the airlifting. Did you just fill the 50-gallon drum that you had out there? Or is it conveyed off the field trash? All they did. It's a big thing to keep it. This guy can get the problem because people don't realize how good it's going to clean.
You'll have it on there, the position of the arm there. I think it comes up or pointed inward just so it doesn't get bumps and stuff, just for tipping convenience. So you will have to, so you got a picture of it, the position of it.
This has gotta move. So now, let's say you want to get rid of this. We want to get rid of this problem of weeds coming over off the center. What we would do is just turn down the feed roll a little bit. Let's see how much weed we get. Minuscule amount. So that's what you have to look for to make sure that that's not coming over the wheel. Check this over. Wow. The last plate's too high. We'll start turning over even more product. In this case, you can go up even higher. So if you go up too high on the rock plate, it will blow high. And then you have cracking your product on the bottom. This is a lip that touches the lip on the rock plate touches the scalping reel. So right now it's too high. So I'm going to go back down at this point here and let that build up. And make sure that that plate, that lip, the urethane lip is touching the reel.
Make a 412 and a 612, it's just another module, stack them up.
So you'll have parallel cylinders.
So they both feed at the same time, same size cylinder. You ever see one of these that has two different size, like a round hole and a slide hole? You got a problem. Because it's just a capacity thing. Gotcha. I just got this from shut off here. I'm just feeding the one. Got a vibrating trough underneath it to divert the throughs. It can discharge the same end as the overs or the opposite end. This is really broken up corn, but you can see your flats there and your rounds there.
Gotcha.
And they'll do that large, medium, small. And you know what I've learned years and years after doing this? The only reason they do that, I thought it might have to do with the rate of growth or there's very different varieties as far as the size. So it fits in the planters. You don't want to get too little and stuck in a pocket or a big one doesn't fit in the pocket. I was overthinking it completely. Fits in the illumination of the different seed. They're really strict with no varietal contamination, so they have to have 100% clean out. And we offer a tool, and this is open called a clean out door. You got a tool and you clean out. It's not a single kernel, it's got any wedges in there. see it going. If it can fall through, it falls through about in the first half of the shell. This might be a little unlevel, so this will eventually clean out 100%. To show you how to take a shell out, I'm going to lift it up and help it.
That's important to get it 100% level.
Well, some even have it slightly downhill.
You know, it's only too deep and put too much in there, it comes to your refine gold.
Quick change cylinder. Nut on here. Wrench comes with the machine. Go like that. Disengage. Now your variety changes, you put in a different size shell, and you pop it right back in.
My wife has too.
Well, this is a long fork that you push in here and it actually lifts that spring-loaded wiper blade to make it easier. You can do it without it, it's just a little harder. Erase this. Yeah, I'll need that tool. There you go. When you have that tool in there, that thing's all the way up. That slides right on there.
Okay.
That slides right in. And once this is up against the felt seal, so you don't get corn leaking back out, you put that on, you remove the fork, and this spring-loaded wheel sits on that and prevents it from doing what it was doing the whole time, slipping back that way. Then that goes right in, you lift up, re-engage your coupling system. This is called a discharge head. It's got a metal socket with a square shaft over your reducer spline shaft, and that drives you. Belt-driven variable pitch pulley for adjusting your speed. You can open it up or close it, so your belt will either sit lower or higher. We factory set these 58 to 60 RPM, and that's the speed you want. Any faster, you're going to get that effect. Any slower, your product is going to stay in the cylinder too long. This is pretty simple. When you get these, you pretty much plug them in, make sure your rotation's right, and then when you get product going, you have to adjust yourself. That's all there is to this. It's called an air screen cleaner.
Okay.
And it's a flat deck sifter and scalper. This is a 510. What that means is disregard from here on out. This is another machine that's prototype. The machine is from here to here. And the product comes in. These are called shoes. You got two shoes. This top shoe has two decks. And this bottom shoe has a return deck and then two more screens. You can see them through here. So typically, some people use this instead of a Scalperator. It's not near as high capacity. Product comes in and is distributed on these two decks equally. About 50%, no, that's 100%. I was doing a mustard seed applications. It's arranged. That's the other thing with this thing. It can be configured to scalp and sift and scalp, come out that side of the machine or this side of the machine. Typical application would be, this would be 50% open and 50% closed. to feed these two decks. Your good product, your corn would go through and your sticks and stems would stay on top of the screen and come out the end. Good product drops down to the return deck, which has a smaller, more of a sifting application. So your big holes for the scalp, small holes to get the brokens and the fines out. And again, it's considered we have it in a pre-cleaner and we have it in a fine cleaner, which just means we have fans on top and bottom that can do some aspiration also. But it's a straight back and forth flat screen sifter. Usually you're a Scalperator guy or you're a air screen cleaner guy. Some use both. Some use this just for the big crap with no air. Then they'll go to the Scalperator and fine tune it and get the smaller rocks and stuff off while lifting all your dust. And then you can go to your precision sizers or your Uniflows without all that trash and garbage and brokens and sticks to go into a further length or width separation. Yeah. This is an aspirator. It's a density separator. Popular in cereal plants and sunflower right before bagging. Gets rid of all your light dust. Yeah. You got a feed roll just like you do on the Scalperator. This is called a VDMC, vertical drop multi-chamber. Product comes in cascades down like this. You've got a fan here, so you're sucking air through here. Sort of velocity control module, you allow how much air you want. And as the product comes, air passes through here, 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 through the whole curtain, lifting brokens and light dust. Comes to an expansion chamber where you have the pressure drop. Settles into an auger just like the Scalperator. Light dust will go up and out to your bag house. What comes out of the bottom, in theory, is dust-free. You know, your frosted flakes, they go through a gentle one of these so you don't have this much powdered sugar in the bottom of your cereal box. Sunflower guys get the broken shells out before they bag the in shell. I think even shelled hulled ones, they get the little waxy cover off. So prior to bagging, it's part of it, and even before getting your heavy dust, before going in, I've seen it on top of storage bins before corn goes into storage.
Have you seen these before, color sorters and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Sataki makes the color sorters. They're in line with all of our rice applications, corn applications. They're the expensive ones.